one in this house.
No, I'm definitely stronger than you are.
No, we're not.
Yeah, I am.
Not than my dad.
Probably not stronger than your dad, no.
My dad's... I've never seen my dad.
Hey, we have a story today on Mexico and a story today on, Okay, first story up is a little bit of bad news for the growers out there, for the farmers, for the weed farmers out there who are watching, specifically in California, where prices for a pound of weed have gone way down and continue to go down and seem to be on this path of basically there's a correction happening because the supply has been much more so than the demand. This is in particular for outdoor farming, where typically in the summer you're seeing a spike in prices for a pound of weed. You're seeing it go almost up to 1,000 sometimes, but now, this is all according to MJ Biz Daily, by the way, those prices are falling at a time where it shouldn't necessarily be falling. And there's a lot of concern in these circles that this is something that's not going to go away anytime soon because, like I said, this summer is where things usually go up, and so now they're worried that they're going to have to wait until next summer for another spike to happen, or if this is just kind of a long-term correction that's happening. And the big difference here is between premium tier and more mid-tier product. And mid-tier product is the stuff that's being made in outdoor large crop fields, whereas indoor places where you can really control the environment and the climate, more premium tier stuff is being created. And the prices of the premium stuff has not fallen as intensely as the mid-tier outdoor growth. The numbers here are about 50% decrease from mid-June, whereas for the indoor stuff it's about 10 to 20% decrease. So it's still decreasing, but not to the extent as the mid-tier stuff. And I think what this shows is that we have such an abundance of rather good, pretty much fine marijuana out there, and there's so much being grown again and again and again. And by the way, California does not cap the licenses for cultivation, but people are getting hungrier for this premium tier, for this kind of almost like highbrow marijuana that we're seeing more, and that's all being grown indoors. And so that, while that still is falling in price only slightly, it's not falling to the extent that the mid-tier stuff is. So it's fascinating, and it'll be kind of nerve-wracking to see where this goes in the future if weed farmers are going to have a harder time getting the money that they're used to because of just a saturated environment.
Bad for this guy right here. He's been waiting for his boo for like the past 20 minutes with flowers and everything. She hasn't came out. Or he. Maybe she's coming out now. Oh, how cute. Aw. Finally, bitch.
Okay, and the second story is a really fascinating little flip-flop that I didn't expect, but who am I? Basically, we have been under the impression that Mexico has been creating a bunch of marijuana and it's been flowing into the US for decades now, and that has been the case, and they found whatever way they possibly can to get through the border. Now, that is completely being flipped on its head, where lots of weed, especially from California, is going towards Mexico. This is an article I found in Washington Post that explains big hubs like Mexico City, they want American marijuana because it's the stuff that they associate with music videos, with an American lifestyle. So they want these American brands like Bubba Kush or Girl Scout cookies. They want to associate it with these American brands. There is a leaf blower outside, so I apologize if it's going to get loud. Hopefully you won't hear it. But anyway, some have been seized at the border. However, they're not as strict as things coming into America, of course. So most gets by pretty easily, and especially on the California border. There's one store in particular that they say 55% of the people buying weed from them, and they are right on the border. 55% are people coming in from Mexico to get it. And we've talked about Mexico a lot, specifically because their Supreme Court has decriminalized marijuana, but they're still left in this limbo state where nothing is legal because they have not created any legislation for it. So they can't. So it's still illegal to buy and sell in the country, yet it's decriminalized. So it's kind of confusing. But because of that, the leniency around it has really skyrocketed, and people are looking for the best kind of weed out there, and they're looking towards California, which is pretty much typically the best weed you can get, at least in North America. I don't really know about like Amsterdam or whatever. And interestingly, because of this, they're seeing that there's being less marijuana produced in Mexico than there was previously. The President Manuel Lopez Obrador has gone to Sinaloa, which was the hometown of El Chapo, and he talks specifically about this concern that there will be less workers in that city because of less marijuana and poppy fields. It's just really a fascinating flip-flop that now, instead of seeing imports into America, we're seeing more exports. And that goes hand in hand with our first story, where we are supplying way more than the demand is, at least in this country. So we're having to export because there's just so much, especially in places like California, where the economy has been set up for so many years, and its climate is just perfect for it. So we're seeing a major shift in the relations between these two countries when it comes to marijuana, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes in the next 5 years. And that's all we have to talk about today. We'll be back on Wednesday with more stuff. I'll see you then.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.